welcome to the Urban Homestead. My name is Naushin, and I want to use this YouTube channel to share everything that I've been learning about gardening in containers. Over the last few years I've watched a lot of videos and followed a bunch of blogs about gardening, and I've noticed that there's a lot of information out there for people who can plant in the ground or in raised beds, but there's not a whole lot out there for renters, people who can only plant in containers or have small spaces. And so I wanted to share what I've learned along the way about planting in containers. I'm by no means an expert, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of learning as I go, as well as some inevitable failures. But if you're interested in learning more about container gardening, keep watching. So I thought I'd start today by showing you around the area that I have and the area that I use for gardening. Over the years I have built up quite a collection of pots and grow bags that I use, and this is the area that I keep them in. It's a patio area just outside the living room. Beyond that we do have a grassy bit as well, but as we're renting we can't dig in the ground, so all my gardening happens in these containers. So I'll just show you around what I've got growing at the moment, starting with my dwarf runner beans. This variety is called Hestia, and I've currently got 6 in a single grow bag. Hopefully they won't get too big because they are a dwarf variety, and hope they'll grow well and not be too squished. Behind the dwarf runner beans I have a planter full of strawberries and pine berries. I'm not sure what planting them together will do in terms of cross-pollination, but we'll see. And then I've got some chives and some mint growing in pots on this mini greenhouse. Behind the mint I've got some bok choy as well, which is covered to protect it from slugs. And then behind those I have some felt planters that I made myself, just to kind of maximize my growing space. The plan is to cut holes in these planters and to grow salad greens kind of vertically. And then I've got a variety of carrot called Red Samurai in a container, and then a whole bunch of tomatoes and tomatillos in my sunniest spot of the garden. They grow really well in grow bags, so that's what I keep them in. And then I've got a couple of pots that had some flowers in it last year and hopefully will bloom soon. Some thyme. And then behind that, a pot of a blueberry plant, which I only just got last year, so it's just beginning to flower, which is exciting. Hopefully we'll see some fruit soon. I've also got a raspberry bush that I got last year and is just beginning to bloom as well, and a couple of rose bushes. I got all of these from Thompson and online. They're not looking very bushy yet, but excitingly I've got 3 blooms on the red variety of rose. I've also got a Japanese wineberry bush that has yet to fruit sadly, but looks cool with the red stems. Some more chives and coriander, and some dwarf tomatoes. It's called a red robin variety. A couple of pots of tulips that have already flowered, and a sage plant that actually lasted really well over the winter. And behind it I've got another small pot of dwarf tomatoes and spring onions that I just got from the shop and put in the soil. And then at the end I've got my lemon tree, which I've had for a couple of years but has yet to give me fruit. I did have some mini fruit this year, but sadly since filming this they've all dropped off, so if anyone knows what to do about that, do let me know. And finally around the front I have 2 grow bags of potatoes. I just left a couple in the bags from last year, and yep, I just need to make sure they're well watered throughout the season and they're not harvested until the leaves have completely died. I also wanted to show you how I start all of my plants. So I sow the seeds in any kind of container that I can get my hands on a couple of weeks before the final frost date in my area, and then once they've grown up a bit I move them outdoors when the final frost date has passed. I use all kinds of containers. These are mushroom boxes I think, and some margarine tubs around the back there. This used to be a pastry box, I think, and it works really well as a propagator because the lid is clear. So yeah, have a look around at what you have. You might not need to buy any special propagating boxes. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the tour of my small garden. Keep following along to see updates on how this growing season goes, and I'll see you next time.